All right, Samantha, you are being placed under arrest, okay?
For
Domestic violence battery.
Welcome back to Advocacy Alchemy with Professor Ross. Today we have a good one, guys. What does it mean to be hurt? Is it bruises on a face, a shove, in the heat of an argument, or is it something more complicated? Something hidden beneath, love, guilt, loyalty. In this case, out of Ocala, Florida, police respond to what looks like just another couple that's having an argument. But when they arrive, they find scratches on the man's neck and witnesses pointing fingers. We have a woman named Samantha doing everything she can to explain it all away. The man says, "She didn't touch me." She says, "We're just stressed." But the law sees something entirely different. This lecture explores what happens when the law sees what love tries to hide. We'll walk through Florida's mandatory arrest policy, the tension between visible injuries and invisible intentions, and why, even when no one claims to be a victim, the state still steps in and takes control. It's a lesson in a sort of legal avalanche, something that's inevitable and that you can't do anything to stop. In Florida, when probable cause is established in a domestic violence case, an arrest isn't optional, it's mandatory. But this is also a human story. A story about fear, confusion, and what happens when someone realizes the system has already made a decision. Let's take a closer look at what happens, and let's ask ourselves, would you trust the wounds or the words? Let's jump in.
I saw you guys when I was over there.
That's fine. It was
arguing a little bit.
It's just a disagreement. Man.
Who-
She's had a long day.
Okay, who was it?
Just my girlfriend. She's
Your
fine.
girlfriend? Okay.
Yeah, she's just relaxing right now. It's
Okay.
just a disagreement. That's it.
Gotcha. What are you guys arguing about?
Life.
Life? Getting a little rough?
Yeah.
And who is she to you?
It's my daughter.
Your daughter? Nice
Yes.
to meet you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
we're
got you.
just waiting on her to finish.
How'd you get the scratch marks on your neck?
I just have bad itches and it's me.
I got you.
Hi,
Hello. What is going on?
Samantha, colleague.
We don't.
No, it's just, it got to a point where they got into a fight.
It's got
Not
legs.
into a fight,
You're okay.
not altercation. It just got to a verbal altercation. And I've had enough of it. I told him it's either it needs to stop or you need to go. And that's it.
Okay. What are you guys, boyfriend, girlfriend, or what's
Yes,
the deal?
yes.
Okay. Who's the other girl over there?
We live together. That's his daughter.
That's his
She's
daughter.
15.
Okay.
Her name is Natalie.
Okay.
I have the keys.
Okay.
That's my truck.
Okay.
It's either they need to, not they, he. Okay, she's 15.
Yeah.
She's a kid.
How long y'all been together?
A year.
Okay.
It gets to a point where he needs to figure it out, or he does not, and he needs to figure out where he goes.
Okay.
We have never, and I mean this, never gotten into something like this until now.
Okay.
We have figured out anything before.
What was the argument about today? Like what
It
started
was
all
just
this?
the fact of the matter that he needs to go where he goes or he stays where he stays. Like, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
We got
I
a bunch of
understand where, yeah, because it was right here.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And I apologize, and that is not enough.
Okay. Do you have your ID on you?
Yeah, it's in the trunk.
Okay. Stay over here with me. I'll just get your information. I'll write it down here in a
I
second.
can get it. I'm not going to.
I just don't want you to go over there and start back up with him. Can that not happen?
If yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I know you don't know me.
Yeah.
I can do it.
I'm gonna go with you. Let's get your ID out of the car.
We'll be fine after all that, but it needs to stop.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. It just needs to stop.
Just get her ID out of the truck real quick.
Went to this, it should not have. And it's his choice after this. It's his choice. No. It's your choice.
What did I tell you
after
when I
this.
said we come over and get your ID?
That's yours.
Right? Let's go back over here.
She's just had a long day. And she's very stressed.
Sure. What's she stressed about?
Money and just life. That's it, man. Just disagreement.
Sure.
She works at a bar, so she had a disagreement with the other bartenders. and-
Gotcha. I get it, man. My wife works at a bar too, so.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just unfortunate.
How'd you get all those bruises all over your arms?
I work in a bar.
Okay, what bar?
100 proof.
Oh, you work at 100
I
proof?
slam into the.
Yeah. Okay, I'm familiar with the place. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
It was
talk to
not
my
from
partner.
him
I understand. No, I
at
gotta
all.
ask. I just saw you
I
got
would
them on
tell
your
you if
arms
it
and all that
was.
kind of stuff.
It is not. I literally
Yeah, you're
slam
fine.
into my well.
Okay. Do me a favor and just hang out on the porch here. I gotta talk to my partner. You don't have to sit down or anything if you don't want to. You can stay standing. Whatever's comfortable for you. Just give me a couple minutes. Did you see the scratches on his
He's got it on both sides of his face.
Yeah, so I asked her, I was like, what's going on? She said, verbal only. We live together, been together a year, that's his daughter. She's like, yeah, you know, we just started arguing about him going somewhere, I don't know, she didn't really get details. The witnesses I talked to, they were behind the shrubs over there. They said they did not see anything violent, they just saw an argument. I'm not sure if the original caller saw anything physical, but I mean, he's got foot scratches all over.
Yeah, no, he told me there are allergies. He scratches very aggressively, and I was like, on both sides of your face. He's like, yep. And I'm like, I think I'll have enough for her. Yeah.
I was an officer over at the prison. I'm sure you see that as a joke. Everybody does. I got my cert. I left. I became a bartender. I make some more money.
Yep.
That's it.
I get it.
Like, I'm just trying to live my life. I love them more than anything.
So what
really do.
So you said it's insecurities, but fill me in a little bit. Like what causes argument
It's
today?
just how he is. Like, he's been cheated on 100 times before me.
Okay.
And then we have these conversations, not arguments, conversations about the fact that he feels this way, this way, this way, this way. It's not because of me.
Real quick. Talking about he has like really fresh scratch marks on his face and on his neck.
I never scratched him.
That's what I'm asking you about.
Okay, I'm just saying,
he
like,
has like
from what you said, it seems to be scratches.
They're
I
very
have
obvious
never
scratches.
Scratched him, ever.
I got you.
I love him. Okay, that's what everybody says about their other half, but I do. I truly love him.
Sure. And I'm not doubting you on that at all.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. I love him. I love him no matter what. But we go through our problems just like every other couple. We're getting through it. But at the same time, wrong place, wrong time.
Sure.
It has happened. I'm just letting you know. We're okay.
I got
As
you.
long
Like I
as
said,
they're
we have to
okay.
do our due diligence. Obviously, people called. I saw you guys arguing
And
when I was over there.
understand that,
So that's
and
what
I
we're here.
appreciate you responding to that because you know something, nobody responds anymore. From what I've seen.
Sure.
Mind you, I'm not in your
Yeah,
unit.
I get it.
From what I've seen. That's it.
I got you.
That's it.
Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna hang out with my buddy right here. I'm on right now. You alright?
It's old age catching up, man.
I figured. I figured. She denied the scratches, but she'd been pushing it.
Yep, so that's
Sympathy
going to be
on
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just.
It's hers.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, I just called her for the DV stuff.
Yeah, I was saying, I'm out of packets too. So.
Yeah, but yeah, so the reporting party said that he saw all three of them arguing verbally.
Okay.
And then she said she heard the other female say something about, oh, you hit him in the mouth. And then he saw her shoving on him and him like trying to get it out.
Yeah.
And then it just like it was escalating. He said it escalate, de-escalate.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, so.
Gotcha on that. Okay. Alrighty, man. Well, I guess we'll take her and head out. So I appreciate the help, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, Samantha. You are being placed under arrest. Okay.
For
Domestic violence battery.
battery?
Yes.
Oh.
I gotcha. We're gonna walk this way, okay?
Okay.
So here's the deal. You've got plenty of witnesses that called. They saw her give you those scratches.
No, not at all.
They saw it happen. That's why we're here.
Well, that's
I understand.
So
So in the state of Florida, if we develop probable cause, one party has to be arrested. The witnesses saw her put her hands on you.
no, she never.
She's
put
getting
her hands
arrested
On me. She
right now.
never put her hands on me though.
She did.
She
You can
did?
try to defend her all you want.
I'm
We
just
have
letting you know.
several,
My daughter. I have a
several.
witness right here says she
We
never
have
put her hands on me.
several witnesses.
She never put her
I'm
hands
not here
on
to.
me.
I'm sorry if this seems like a debate. It's not. I'm just
okay.
telling you what is going on. Okay.
She never put her hands on me. Man.
Okay. You have
This is just a
visible.
verbal.
You have visible injuries
it's a
all
verbal
over you.
argument, man. It's a
Okay.
verbal argument.
People don't get injuries from verbal
She's
arguments.
never done anything wrong in her whole entire life.
People don't get injuries from verbal arguments.
She's never done anything
And
wrong.
witnesses don't call people for verbal arguments.
They just seen somebody arguing, that's all.
They saw her hit you in the mouth.
Never hit me in my mouth, man.
Okay.
Never once touched
Well, sir, this is what's going on.
Okay.
I'm just here to explain it to you.
All right. So
Okay.
she fights it in court and on your body cam, which I verbally stated she never touched me.
That's your prerogative. We have
Okay,
to make the arrest,
100%.
though. Okay?
It is.
Yep.
It's just she never put her hands on
You're
me.
going to be listed as the victim, so it's up to you in the
So
state
if I
what
go to
happens.
court and
It's your prerogative. But
there's no reason for you to arrest her.
there is. That's the part I think you're failing to understand, is when we have probable cause, we're bound to make an arrest.
We're done.
Okay. Have a seat.
If that's how you feel, we're done.
We'll get the keys.
I'm
I'm
not
sure
pressing
you're...
any charges.
Oh my God. I've never been arrested before.
Gotcha.
Ever.
We assume that role for you. If at a later time you don't want to cooperate with the state, that's on you. But as of right now, on the scene, we assume that role for you, and the state of Florida makes an arrest on her in domestic cases. That's
You
how
mind
this
if
works.
I talk to her?
No, sir, you're not allowed to talk to her.
Can she talk to her?
No,
first?
sir.
She's not a victim.
I'm telling you that no one can talk to her right now.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
We'll get you some keys. I'd assume you want to drive the truck.
I have to.
Uh-huh.
I have
So
no
give
other
give me a couple minutes. We'll get you out of here. Is she letting him drive the truck?
Oh, I don't think so, but
No?
I'll ask.
Okay. I mean, because that's what he's under the assumption
Yeah.
that was going to happen.
Hey, Samantha, question for
Can
you.
you please talk to me? Like, what's
Yeah,
gonna happen?
I will talk to you in a second, okay?
I've never been arrested
So,
before.
the
Like, I
reason-
don't even know how this is gonna go.
Let
I'm
me talk,
sorry.
okay?
I don't mean to interrupt you.
So
but
the
I'm
reason
freaking
you're
out.
placed under arrest right now is because we had your statement saying you pushed him, right?
Yes.
He has injuries on his face, and then we also had a witness who saw you initiate the contact and push him, like you said, okay?
How does he feel about this?
He didn't even want to call the cops. He's not very
I
compliant.
know that, but like, I've never been arrested before,
Sure.
ever in my life.
We have to go. The state of Florida takes domestic violence very serious.
I
And if we have the slightest
understand
little bit
that,
of probable cause, we're making the arrest, okay? So that's why you're in this position, okay?
Can he talk to me? Like, I'm not over here trying to like
Yeah.
do anything.
I
I
know.
just can he like?
So
I
right
don't know
now
if
we're
there's
going
a-
to keep parties separated, okay? Just because of the nature of the arrest, okay? We're going to keep parties separated. If you feel like you want to contact him later on, as long as you're allowed to.
I don't
for
even
it.
know his number by heart.
Okay.
Like, he got a new number. I don't. Can he talk to me? Like, as long as I remain calm.
Not right now. So, not right now. Like I said, just do
What
the.
do I do? Like,
So
can
you're
you
gonna-
explain to
So
me
you're going to
what
go to the
I
Marion.
do?
You're going to the Marion County Jail. You're going to be on a no bond until first appearance tomorrow morning, okay? So you have to wait till he's.
Tomorrow morning? Are you kidding me? I've never been. I have to go to work tomorrow.
We have a job to do too, okay?
Oh my God! Please, can you? Like, I understand this is not.
Samantha,
I've
I do have
never
to
in
ask you,
my life-
do you want him to take the truck? Or we can ask the business here if they're willing to let it stay parked. If
How
not,
does he feel about this?
I'm not sure how he feels. He's not very helpful on our investigation, if I'm being honest. But again, we have a
Because
third
he's
party.
on probation.
Okay, we also have a third party witness. That's why, again, you're in cuffs
Listen,
right now.
I'm being cooperative.
I never
like,
said you weren't.
I understand. Like, I don't know how this works. I just would rather somebody help me, please. I've never in my life been arrested. I've never had the reason to.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you don't care. Like, this is your job.
It's not that I don't care. It's just I have to be very matter of fact in these situations, okay? And because I have to go off the evidence that we've been provided, okay? Off of your testimony, his testimony, as well as the third party witness, okay? And his injuries as well.
Oh my God! Oh my
So,
man.
we're gonna head out in just a second, okay? But again, do you want him to have the truck or no?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give him the keys. Is that all right?
He's okay with me being arrested.
I don't necessarily believe he's okay with it, but
He doesn't have a say. This
Yeah.
is the thing you need to understand.
He
This is
doesn't
what-
have a
Stop
say?
talking for a second. This is what I tried to explain to him, and this is what this officer tried to explain to you. In the state of Florida, if probable cause is developed, probable cause means we have injuries, we have accusations, and we have witnesses building up to probable cause. If that is established, even if the victim, which would be him, does not want to press charges, the state of Florida assumes that role, and we make an arrest anyway for domestic type of relations. Stop for 1 second. The reason that happens is it's very popular in the news right now, the Gabby Patino situation, right? Those officers did not make an arrest. Those officers did not make an arrest on a domestic situation because she did not want to press charges. Unfortunately, we see what happens. The state of Florida does not want that to happen. So even if the victim party in domestic situation says, I don't want to press charges, we don't care. We have a job to do. They mandate us to make an arrest. we have to make an arrest. That is how this works.
I'm sorry, can you explain to me
Yes.
how to go about this from here? I understand that this is not under my control.
Correct. It
I
is
have
not under
never
his control.
in my life
Yeah. So
been
here's what my
arrested
advice.
ever in my life.
Here's what my advice to you would be. Okay.
I'm just so unsure. I'm
I know.
nervous.
Listen. I'm gonna explain to you. Okay.
That's why I'm freaking out. Would you?
Can you just let me? I'll explain to you. And I'm gonna give you all the information you need. Okay.
Oh my
You're
God.
gonna get to the
I'm
Marion
so
County Jail. You're gonna get to the Marion County Jail. They're gonna book you in, which all it means is they're gonna take your picture. They're gonna let you sit in the booking area.
Okay.
They're gonna go over some paperwork with you. It'll be like getting checked in. Okay. Once you're checked in, you will stay in the booking area until first appearance. Typically, that happens first thing in the morning. Okay. Early in the morning, probably 8 a.m. The judge at that time will probably set some boundaries until the resolution of this case. He might say that you guys can't contact each other. He might say that other stipulations have to be met. That's up to the judge. That's not up to us. Once that happens, you'll be out and on your way. Okay?
In the
Is your phone in the
morning.
truck? Is your phone in the truck?
Yeah.
Do you want him to have your phone, or do you want it?
I would like him to call my mom.
That didn't answer my
I would
question.
like him to call someone.
Do you want your
please.
phone to go into the jail with you?
I would like him. I would like to know if he can call my mom.
He can
I
call
would
whoever
like
he
to
wants.
know if
Yeah.
some
He
like
can call
is
whoever,
it
but
the
do you
fact
want your
that
phone to go with you to the jail? Yes or no?
I don't know. Like
I would
can
say I would say probably yes, because you get phone calls when
Are you
you're at the
being
jail.
honest
yes,
with me?
Listen, you get phone calls when you're at the jail, and
I
they'll let
would
you get
like
numbers
like
out of that
is there
phone.
something of like I don't know how bail works. I don't know
Yeah.
how bond works. I don't know how all that works. Like
So don't worry about that tonight, because you can't get one tonight. That's out of the
can
equation.
some
tonight.
like so I'm gonna get out in the morning?
Yes.
How would that work after that?
The judge will go over that with you at first appearance. That's what the whole meeting
When
is
is
for. They'll-
first
They'll take you
appearance?
to it. You don't have to worry about that. They will take
Do
you
you
to that.
understand why I'm so scared?
I'm
I've
answering your
never in my
questions.
life I've worked in a prison, but I've never
answering
been
your
through
questions.
this.
I understand.
I'm so scared.
I know.
I feel like I'm not gonna
As of right now, take it one step at a time, and we're gonna have to take you down there. Okay? So watch your head. I'm gonna shut this door.
She says, I've never been arrested before. I'm scared. I worked in a prison, but I've never been through this. From the start, this isn't about resistance. It's about confusion, fear, and someone trying to make sense of a process that feels bigger than herself. The officers remain calm, but they're direct. They tell her, you're going to be taken to jail. You'll have no bond until your first appearance tomorrow morning. That's when Samantha's anxiety spikes. She never saw this coming. Not today, not like this. Now, shift focus to the boyfriend. He's got visible injuries, scratches on his face and neck. When he was asked, he said, it's from allergies. He insisted she never put her hands on me. He repeats that over and over and over again. But the officers aren't just going on what he says. They're operating on what they see and what others said they saw. Multiple 911 calls were made. Witnesses told dispatchers they saw a woman hitting and shoving a man. One caller recalled hearing, "You hit him in the mouth." Officers confirmed that independent witnesses said Samantha was the aggressor. Even Samantha herself admits in passing that things escalated. She said, it got to a point where we got into a fight. Then she changed it. She said, not a fight, a verbal altercation. But her backtracking, it doesn't erase what we saw. It doesn't stop us from hearing what we heard. The officers, they explain everything plainly. In Florida, if we develop probable cause, we're mandated to make an arrest, even if the alleged victim says they don't want the other person arrested. This is when the emotional toll, it sets in. Samantha, she breaks down. She's worried about work. She doesn't know how bail works. She can't remember her boyfriend's new phone number. She wants someone, anyone, to help her make sense of what's going on. But everything's already in motion. The state has assumed the role of the victim. Decisions are now out of everyone else's hands. Okay, let's move into the law breakdown. What happened in this case isn't just about emotions or misunderstandings. It's about how the law defines domestic violence and how it demands action, and why officers on the scene have very little discretion. Let's start with the key statutes. First, you have Florida Statute 741.28. Domestic violence includes any assault, battery, stalking, false imprisonment, or other criminal offense resulting in physical injury or death committed by one family or household member against another. This includes couples living together, like Samantha and her boyfriend here. Now, you also tie in this other statute, Section 784.03, which defines battery as intentionally touching or striking someone against their will. The moment that happens between people in a domestic relationship, it becomes domestic battery, a first-degree misdemeanor. But Florida has something a little bit different. It follows a mandatory arrest policy for domestic violence. Once officers have probable cause to believe a crime has occurred, an arrest must be made. There's no pressing charges. There's no let's all calm down. The law steps in and takes over. In Samantha's case, officers had 3 pieces of probable cause. First, they had visible injuries on the boyfriend. Second, they had witness statements describing physical contact. Third, Samantha's own partial admission that things got physical. Even though he, the boyfriend, denied it, even though she downplayed everything, the evidence was enough. And because this is a domestic violence incident, the consequences are more serious than most people even realize. Let's take a look. The punishments carry up to 1 year in jail, a fine of up to $1,000, probation and community service, mandatory completion of a 26-week batterers intervention program. There's also the possibility that you'll lose your firearm rights. And something very important. As a result of this case, you'll have a permanent record. Domestic violence charges can't be sealed or expunged in Florida. This means that if Samantha pleads to a lesser charge, even if she never serves time, this arrest follows her for the rest of her life. This isn't just about punishment, it's about protection. The law is designed to prevent repeat harm, especially in situations where victims often stay silent or deny abuse or feel pressure to protect their partners. That's why the officers kept saying, "We're not here to debate, this is what the law requires." So with that, let's move into our evidentiary standards. Understanding how police and prosecutors move through a case requires knowing the 6 levels of evidentiary standards. Each one represents a different threshold of proof, and each plays a role in how a case like Samantha's moves from an incident to an arrest and possibly to the courtroom. Let's break them all down. First, we have mere suspicion. This is the weakest level. It's a gut feeling or a hunch. Something seems off, but there's no specific evidence. In this case, we have a couple that's seen arguing loudly in public. That might raise some eyebrows. That's suspicion, but it's not enough to actually act on. Number 2, reasonable suspicion. This means an officer can point to specific, articulable facts that suggest a law might have been violated. Here, seeing Samantha and her boyfriend arguing in public with some additional aggressive body language, cursing, this would probably justify checking in, seeing what's going on, investigating further. Number 3, probable cause. This is where the law kicks into full gear. Probable cause means there's enough evidence to reasonably believe a crime has occurred. Here, in Samantha's case, this came from multiple sources. We have visible scratches on the boyfriend. We have witnesses saying that they saw her shove or hit him. And we have Samantha's own statement about a fight escalating. That combination gave officers a legal green light and an obligation to make an arrest. Number 4, preponderance of the evidence. This standard is used in civil cases and means that something is more likely true than not, just over 50%. If Samantha were facing a restraining order or a civil injunction, the judge would use this level to decide whether to impose restrictions. Number 5, clear and convincing evidence. This is a higher bar. This is used also in civil cases involving serious consequences like terminating parental rights. If the state tried to impose a long-term legal control on Samantha, like court-mandated treatment or loss of custody, they'd need evidence that's highly and substantially more likely to be true. At this level, we say it takes about 75% of the evidence pointing to your claim being true. Finally, number 6, beyond a reasonable doubt. This is the highest standard in our legal system. It's what the state must meet to convict Samantha of domestic battery in a criminal trial. That means convincing a jury not just that she pushed her boyfriend, but she did it intentionally, against his will, and it wasn't in self-defense or mutual combat. And finally, here's where it gets real. Even if a jury hears the boyfriend say, "She never touched me," the visible injuries, third-party witnesses, and Samantha's own words could still meet this burden if jurors believe those elements are credible. Let's talk more about the jury perspective next. Okay, let's imagine you're on this jury. You're sitting in the jury box. You've heard all the testimony. You've seen the body cam footage, looked at the photos of the boyfriend's scratched up face. You've read the witness statements. You've heard the boyfriend say over and over again, "She never touched me." Now the burden's on you. So here's the question. Would you believe the injuries, or would you believe the man who's saying, "Oh, these scratches, they came from allergies"? This case asks you to weigh what you see against what you're told. That's the tension at the center of so many domestic violence trials. Victims recant their statements, defendants minimize what happened, and emotions cloud everyone's judgment. And then there's Samantha, emotional, apologetic, terrified. She broke down in the back of the patrol car. She didn't sound like someone who wanted to hurt anyone, but she did sound like someone whose world was unraveling. So, as a juror, would that sway you? Here's another twist. What if your gut says this was just a fight that went too far, or that it doesn't really feel like a crime? This is when your role gets tricky. The law defines domestic battery clearly, but you, as a juror, are being asked to judge not just the facts, but the intent behind them. Did she shove him because she's trying to hurt him, or was she just trying to make a point? And this is all while there's the heat of an argument going on. So let me ask you this. If you believe she did it, but you also believe she was overwhelmed, scared, pushed to her limit, does any of that change your verdict? Should any of those things change your verdict? Finally, would you trust that little feeling in your gut here? That subtle tug on your intuition? Does it say guilty, not guilty? Or does it say, I need more? Because in the end, that's what every jury relies on. It's not about just the law. It's about the people applying the law and the feelings that we can't explain. This case out of Ocala teaches us something deeper than just what the law says. It teaches us that being hurt and looking hurt aren't always the same thing. Sometimes the people involved don't want justice, but the system insists on having justice anyway. Samantha didn't think she was going to jail. Her boyfriend didn't think she deserved it. The officers, they weren't there to judge feelings. They were acting on probable cause, on the scratches, the witnesses, the law. In Florida, when the legal threshold is met and arrest isn't a choice, it's a mandate. The state steps in, it assumes the role of the victim, it moves forward, even when love says, please stop. And that's why it's so important for people to understand how this works. What you say can be used. What you admit, even in passing, matters. And what officers see on your body, in the eyes of a witness, can set things in motion that you can't stop once they begin. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Know the law, trust your instincts, and understand in moments of conflict, you may not get to explain your side until it's too late. This wasn't just a lesson in domestic violence. It's a look into how the law tries to protect people, sometimes even from themselves. Remember, this is Advocacy Alchemy, and I am Professor Ross. See you tomorrow. Have a good day. Stay safe.